Our first question this week comes from COOLHOG, who asks, when do the assistants' contracts expire? Will a new coach have an opportunity to hire them before they take another job? Do you think we might have been better off to name the best recruiter in Texas the interim coach so the new coach would have ample time to hire him on the new staff? Contracts run July to July for assistants. Pretty safe to say if the new head coach wants to keep any of these guys, he won't have any trouble. Question is, who wants them? That's anybody's guess since we don't know who the next coach will be, but Hunter Yurachek wanted an Arkansas connection during this interim period for the interim coach, and I think he picked the right guy. Justifiable Homicide, Hogicide wants to know, do the players seem happier now that Chad Morris is gone? There might be a few that wanted Chad Morris retained, but I'm told not many. Salmonella asks, if you were the AD, who would be targets 1, 2, 3, and 4? I'll hang up and listen. First of all, I would not last long as an AD. Mike Leach, no surprise, would be my top target. I've said it before. I'd go after Mike Gundy after that. And I might go with Lundy Jr. or Sam Pittman as 3 and 4. Every successful head coach was once a successful assistant. Both of those guys have the smarts and leadership to make the jump. Other presumed candidates not on my list are not coaches I'd consider, so I probably just made a bunch of you mad. HOGWILD asks, who was your starting quarterback for LSU? Lundy Jr. made the right decision. KJ has a long ways to go, but you have to consider who has been coaching him. But it would also not surprise me if next year's quarterback is not currently on the team. Or maybe Jack Lindsey would come into play next year. He's smart enough to adjust to whatever offense the new coach would bring in. But if he's smart, the new coach would bring a quarterback with him or quickly go get one if his offense is a lot different than what they're running now. Now, Call That Play Brother says, we now have half a team of pro set offense players, half a team of pseudo spread. Regardless of who winds up being our new leader, does this mean we're again out of recruit/philosophy sync for 2 years? First of all, it's not 50-50. It is more Morris's players now than Bielema's. The real issue is, how will these guys fit the philosophy of the new head coach? And until we know who that is, it's anybody's guess. FS-HOGMAN wants to know, what did Coach O say to Burks at the end of the game? My wife is a pretty good lip reader, and she said he told Burks he wanted him here, meaning transfer to LSU. If he did, I think Hunter Yurachek should file a complaint with the SEC about him recruiting players of other SEC teams during the season. Well, to date, no one at Arkansas has commented on this. We've watched the clip. We're not lip readers, but Coach O did spend around 10 seconds talking to Burks, so I guess it could have happened. We've got the clip, and if Burks transfers to LSU, we may find us a lip reader. My guess is Burks, an Arkansas kid, is not going anywhere. Parallelix Pig wants to know, during the coaching search, does an AD ever talk with the coach directly during the regular season? What is the usual protocol? For the most part, they don't. Usually they're dealing with agents. I guess there are exceptions, but beware of what you hear. Various rumors or even media reports have Hunter Yurachek already talking to certain candidates. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but unless I got it from the horse's mouth, I wouldn't report it. What head coach wants it said that he's talking to another school while his season is going on? So most don't do it directly. Kevin wants to know, I understand a lack of talent. I understand learning new schemes, but after 2 years, how do you keep getting worse like our defense has? They don't even look like they practice. Some of it is youth, some of it is a talent issue. Obviously, they need more speed in the secondary, but mostly it appears to be coaching. There's no creativity in the pass rush. The techniques are bad, and the motivation, it's awful. I think these players, SMTG94 says, I think these players have to take responsibility for their part in this season. They quit on this team, and they turn their backs on a once proud program. What is your take on this team quitting and not playing to their potential? And how long will it take to get back to being competitive again? Well, it doesn't take long for a tradition to go out the window. There is a common belief that there aren't enough Arkansas kids on this team and that out-of-state kids aren't as invested as they might be. And that could be partially true. But all the motivation and heart out there won't overcome bad coaching and a lack of talent. This team needs more speed, as I said, better quarterbacks, mostly a better offensive and defensive line, and that's on the next head coach. Winning builds tradition. There is a good group of freshmen on this team. I think the right coach will probably have more to work with than Morris did 2 years ago. Recruiting was the one thing that Morris did well with his staff, and don't get me wrong, even so, there are still holes like in the O-line, quarterback, secondary, but the right coach, in my opinion, could solve those problems maybe in a couple of seasons. HOGVILLE wants to know, is the AD oblivious to the preferences of the vocal fan base? Are there certain knowledgeable insiders to whom he defers in formulating his decision-making process? Does he consult with any influential person or groups of persons before making his selection known? First of all, there's no consensus with the fans on who should be hired, so polling them would do no good. I think Yurichek's got a good idea of who the fans don't want, and I don't figure he's going to hire somebody that falls into that category. Now, the knowledgeable insiders, well, that would be former coaches like Barry Switzer, who I'm told has been contacted, and there are others. Influential persons, you mean like those boosters that tried to get Gus Malzahn 2 years ago? I hope not. If it goes like it did with the Musselman hire, Hunter Yurichek will hire the guy he thinks is right for the job, not somebody that a group of boosters or board of trustees members want him to bring in. Big Daddy says, I'm confused about the role of special teams coordinator. I heard Coach Lunny say in his most recent press conference that he doesn't understand how to kick a football. My question is, who coaches the kickers if he, Lunny, doesn't know anything about the mechanics or techniques? Well, they send their kickers to kicking academies in the summer months. A couple of guys on the staff go with them so that in season and in the spring, those guys are able to observe any issues that might pop up in the techniques of the kickers. But no, Lunny does not observe them kicking and say, hey, that's wrong, let me show you how to kick. Doesn't do that. 10 Years of Hell asks, what are your thoughts about the SEC ESPN announcers' comments about Arkansas not giving Chad Morris enough time before being fired? Are we supposed to just lay down and accept last place every year, or can we strive to get better? Okay, watch this for years, decades. Almost all game announcers and analysts will defend coaches, no matter what. Now, I think it's because they come in before games and they got to work with these coaches as a part of their on-air game prep. So they don't want to develop a reputation of criticizing coaches for fear that they will get limited cooperation from coaches in their game prep. But for whatever the reason, it's annoying, and it's one of the reasons why I watch games with the sound down. Those comments about Morris were nonsense, and I think Hunter Yurichek adequately explained why Morris was fired, when he was fired. Team was not making progress and was not competitive at all. End of story. Okay, let's shift gears because here's a track question from Pork Soda who asked, how would you assess the job Bucknam has done with the men's track program? Well, Arkansas, which used to dominate indoor-outdoor track and cross-country, just finished 30th at the National Cross Country Meet. That's embarrassing. Now, there is a trend in athletics these days to have just one head coach for both men and women's track. Lance Harder, who's won 4 national titles with the Arkansas women, would be a logical pick if Hunter Yurichek decided to make a change with the men's program. But I don't have any inside information on that. Dr. Starks wants to know, will the Ask Mike segment continue through basketball and baseball season? Well, it will if I get enough questions from Hog fans like you. So here's how we do it. Go to hogville.net on your phone or computer. Sign up. It's free. Get yourself a username like Hog Detective or I Ask Good Questions. Anything. Just get creative. And then go to the Ask Mike forum and post your question, and you're in business. That's it for this week. See you again next Monday where you Ask Mike.